Hello and welcome to some Minecraft Musings Joker Tower. So, yes, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, whatever you celebrate or don't celebrate. Happy holiday season. Although I don't feel bad about saying Merry Christmas. I grew up with it. It seems normal. I don't think it really offends. But anyways, we don't need to go down that whole thing. But something I did want to do, in fact, actually, let's just jump over there because I can get distracted and lost in farming pretty easily. But anyways, been doing a lot of the discussions on the X app, and I need to reel myself back in because sometimes, and I notice this about myself. I'll let myself get carried away. We all do. It's a human thing. Like somebody challenges you, says something offensive, all that. People are quick to act, and those fingers can fly and send a message. And I'm reminded of the times back in StarCraft. Let's just go ahead and start putting them up here. Actually, let's go and no, we're on a mission. Because again, I'll get lost in trading and all that. We're going to the Joker Tower. We're going to talk about projects, and we're trying to talk about what the scope is of what I'm trying to do. And really is, a lot of it is just kind of a hobby for me. But at the same time, there is a point, a drive to the shenanigans. Like this one particular today got me, got under my skin because it was a direct like, and it was something about talking about weed and like how it's not as dangerous as we think and yada yada, the things we say all the time. Oh, I need item frames. I do have wood. Now I just need leather or actual item frames. So wait, did I see leather in here? No. Leashes or leads. Alright, well, I have a lot of leather. But basically, what I like to do, and if you've seen the other seasons, like I think Oasis I did a lot of, and the other two taboos I think was still in the old world, but the one that got erased and led to this. Oh, it's so magnificent. Alright, but anyways. Um, I like to write in books and put them on walls, basically. I don't really need anything from you. I'm gonna let you live, just wander around, but... So I need... leather... There it is. Okay. So... I will take some of this back with us. So we're gonna need more than that. Yeah. So... But anyway, so back in the StarCraft days, I used to play a lot of BattleNet, and, this was around, like, middle school age, I want to say, was when I first started playing online. Um, Actually, maybe even more elementary age, because I remember I was playing Duke Nukem in 4th grade. Um, Not to rat out my parents or anything, like, they did pretty good in his parental guidance, and plus the graphics just weren't all that bad. I don't know. And I'm very similar with my own kiddos. It's like, as long as I'm able to explain it, the violence and whatnot. But anyways, back to this. So I bring up StarCraft because we were doing a lot of social engineering. We were doing manipulation and thinking, just talking to each other. These were people that were connected. Like we couldn't see each other. So for us, it was just talking to like a machine even. I mean, even though we knew like, okay, yeah, that's a person on the other end, but it didn't seem real because there's no, nonverbal communication. It was just or well, there's none of the nonverbal communication that you get with talking to someone face to face or on a video call because you get to see their facial expressions. You get to see real instant like responses and feedback to whether what you're saying is on base or if it's just out there or whatever. And unfortunately, there's also times where, people might be thinking of something completely different, which I do all the time in meetings. So it might look like I just changed emotion or whatever. And it's just like, oh no, I just remembered something else. So and I think that's where a lot of our brains are kind of gearing towards because of how kind of fractured and splintered our attention has become. But at the same time, we're able to accomplish a lot more things. I mean, present stuff excluded. I have a lot I need to do tomorrow. I'm still going to get some of it done tonight, just getting ready for Christmas and everything. And it's like, cart before the horse. Like, I should have been prepping a long time ago, but that's okay. So, but anyways, back to the stuff, like the cyberbullying and stuff. And so it all starts like, so StarCraft is it's a, how would you say that? Like it's like Command and Conquer. It's a strategy game where you control units and you have them build buildings and train soldiers and units to fight. And it's like a battle strategy thing where you're the general or the commander and you have a bird's eye view of all of it and you're controlling these. In fact, I'm probably going to do some videos on it. I need to like even just not using a microphone. My computer is kind of echoey, so and I know this one's not even like all that great. So I'm gonna upgrade that and then do some StarCraft stuff. But anyways, the point is, you'd play a game against someone, you'd beat them brutally or not so much, whatever. It always feels brutal when all of your creations and your people are killed and destroyed in front of you, and you slowly lose like your country, and it's some pretty intense psychological stuff there. Like a lot to unpack, and this is just like kids playing against each other online, and not even to be confused with Call of Duty stuff now, where it's like you're actually in war zones, so you know exactly what it feels like. I mean, not exactly because you don't actually get hit, hurt, and you don't feel the physical part of it, but you see all of the emotional, like people dying in front of you, and like all this graphic stuff. And so it's like that's why kids are a lot more mature nowadays. But at the same time, like we can get through a lot of unnecessary nonsense. Like I mean, the spooky, hocus pocus voodoo type stuff. Like I don't know, that is trying to shelter the younger generations when really, if you're just straight with them and just don't treat them, I don't know. I guess part of that is because we are learning at younger and younger ages. Like I had at my fingertips what my parents didn't have until college, and then they'd have to go to the college library. And I'm just sitting there with a search engine. It wasn't Google even back at the time. It was like Internet Explorer, and I think it had, I don't even know how it worked, or Netscape Navigator, I think was even, I don't even know. It was AmigoNet, and I used Netscape, but I think I used Internet Explorer. And I guess you weren't really able to search as much, maybe. I don't know. But either way, like if I had a website, like something in a magazine or something, or like I could go somewhere, and that was already worlds beyond. Like once computers were invented, you know, it's exponential growth, and it's all communication technology, which is hilarious because back in the day when I took that class, I thought it was going to be a boring class, and I didn't like it at all because it was a JTC journalism tech class, like, and I'm trying to like write software and do all this respectable, cool algorithm stuff, and all the while, like the very first thing they said, she held up a pen and she was like, "This is communication technology." I was looking, I was like, well, it's a stretch, but and she's like, because before this you had the pen and the quill and the ink blot, and before that, cave paintings stuff. I mean, just kind of like the gradual transition of how people communicate ideas or situations. Like right now, I'm running around in a virtual world, building things, breaking things, doing things that, like, if it was in the real world, would take years to construct this stuff. If ever, this could probably be like several lifetimes, like, and solid emerald blocks, like, mashed together to, it's, and I'm figuring out where to place these things, which you could place a book and you could write all you want in it, and then if you upload this world at a snapshot in time, or invite people that, I don't really want. There's security issues for that. I mean, somebody could just destroy everything unless you make it to where they can't adjust blocks. So I might, have that a thing. But anyways, you can pop this off and open it up, and whatever we wrote in here, many pages. So we can just keep going. I just generated, so now there's 10. In fact, how many can we go? This might crash it. Let's see. Just kidding. The pages of pages. 50 pages is the max. Okay. So good. And they put a safety in there, like, okay, after that, calm down. I mean, you can get a new book, and this will be the 50-page book. Let's go to sleep. Actually, I guess we could work through the night. Nah, it feels weird. Let's go. We should get a bed over there. So, and I'm actually going to switch to some Dark Souls, I think, because, I mean, I am going to get some stuff done. But, like, a lot of it is shopping, and I'm waiting on some money to come in. So, as soon as that happens, and even if not, then I've got Plan B and C. I just don't want to go to Plan B and C because it's ghetto. But we're coming up on Christmas Eve tomorrow, so yeah. Call me last minute Larry. No, but it's okay. My kids understand. Ugh. Plus, it's amazing. Like, back in my day, and I know the kids don't want to hear it, but at the same time, it's for real. Because back in my day, we didn't have Amazon, we didn't have UPS shipping to your house. Like, I mean, anybody who did have packages coming to their house was very fancy. Like, who ever heard of spending more money to spend money on something? Like, what? We barely even wanted to tip, let alone pay a shipping fee. Like, but that's the thing is like you'd have to go to a store, and people don't really understand that. Like, yeah, we had to drive. Like, me personally, I would drive not, I wasn't driving, my parents were, but like, I had to sit in a car for 2 hours just to get to the store. And then once we got to the store, you're tired, you've been sitting in the car, you got to stretch and everything. You wander around, and then you shop for a while. And if you don't find anything, and there's so much crud was just bought just unnecessarily because, well, I can't leave empty handed. Like, I got to get something. So, like, impulse buying things. It'd be a nightmare to be Christmas shopping back in the 90s. Like, yeah, and I'm aging myself. I'm a 90s kid for sure. But yeah, so and I let my kids know about that, but also like they have the opportunities to work throughout the year anyway, so they're not really relying on gifts on the holidays. They do jobs like reading out loud or doing like or reading a book. I had one of them read Naya Nookie, which is a great story about Native American living, and it's the Shoshone girl who ran, and and that was one of the things that I wrote down. Actually, let's do that. So we've got a book and quill. So like cultures. So, and then, like, Native American. What was here before my ancestors? I mean, because my ancestors, sorry, are also the ones that lived here, and, but I can't trace any tribal lineage to where it would matter. But technically, like, I mean, because Native American is American history, and I've said that. Follow this guy called Lakota Man on the X app. Sometimes he gets a little excessive with the political stuff, but I mean, that's part of engagement. Like, people are actually making good money doing that. And it's kind of like I did with Twitch streaming. Like, I got, all excited, made affiliate all quick, and it was too because I did coding streams, which luckily, sorry, we're way off topic. Native American, Nyanuki. Actually, I don't even know how to spell it. I think it's Naya. I think it's Nuki. But look it up. I mean, Nyanuki. In fact, we'll just leave that as that for now. Because then we'll talk about it. So I read it back in third grade, and we actually went to, I think it was the library or somewhere, maybe the museum, and the author was there, I believe, talking about it, or at least somebody was. I don't know. I mean, I was in third grade, so this was, I was young. But the story is about, well, the Shoshone girl who ran, and so she's trying to. Actually, I don't even remember a whole lot. I'd have to read it again. But it talked about how they lived and it had a lot of examples of like it just like was a story of a day in the life. And I think Sacagawea was even in it, not to sound like racist, be like, oh, of the two famous Native American people I know, they're probably in the same book. But this one they really are. It's like Sacagawea and Nyanuki uh, and then part of it is running, so they didn't want to be captured by the colonists and the pioneers and all that. And life was already tough. They did have warring tribes, warring nations, because guess what? They were people, and human nature is to try to take from each other, except the accountability holds us back. Sorry, I was trying to think of how to say that best. So, without any consequences, and part of those consequences are your conscience or your inner voice telling you, hey, this isn't good, or your compassion, your empathy. And I think with more compassion and empathy, that inner voice gets bigger. And so in understanding that, like, all these people are people, like when I say cultures in Nyanuki, I mean all people are really people. In fact, even just like that's why I get hesitant to even say this. And then by the time it takes me to write this stuff out, like it's almost like I should just uh, I should just do this off camera and then do a video. So let's go ahead and put some books up. Just we got some things going because I do have a lot of things going. I'm working on Well, still the voting server. Like I'm doing that with the Google IVF or something. It's really cool. They already have it started, so I have like the server set up and like I just need to tweak it and figure out what I even really need to add to it because like a lot of it already exists. Like the voting server, it's just basically like a database that has your vote and you can add to it with your email. And as long as that's secure, then you're good. So, oh, but anyways, back to the X app stuff. So understanding that we're all people and like being able to talk and confront other people, like it's definitely not without its dangers. I mean, already I'm arguing with one guy and he's giving me his town and like we're gonna fight and blah blah blah. And that's why it's funny because I remember doing that back when I was a kid. And I would, get mad with somebody else, and it was, I was on both sides of that. Like the good, actually, there weren't even really sides. I was in many of the situations where it happened. Like I would win a game and beat somebody really bad, and they'd be a sore loser, um, or they beat me really bad, and then I was a sore loser. And and it didn't take long or many of those situations for me to be like, oh, it's not fun when that happens. Like I don't like that when that happens to me, so why do I do it to other people? So then when that caught on a little more, I got some empathy. I got some compassion for these strangers around the world that I was playing StarCraft with. And that's all it was. It was just basically you just fight each other, and you are it's a war game. Like you're not like fighting a common goal and that's what I would have liked to do. And actually we did do some of that. Like you'd play with people against bots or the computer AI players. And they had some pretty sophisticated AI they would have all these triggers and like these plans of like, okay, continue to do this, and then based on, I don't think StarCraft actually had the difficulties now that I think about it, but Warcraft 3, I believe, does have difficulties. Actually, Warcraft 2, I thought had difficulty rankings, but either way, like, I mean, because that just alters the plan, like, or it has a different set of directions based on how difficult you want to make it or how easy you want to make it. Like, if, say, I'm trying to think of examples of like what would happen in StarCraft. So you have a few buildings out as an outpost, and it gets attacked, and you just have a few warriors there. Like, do you send other backup to go defend it, or how long, or what happens there, or do you just leave it? That could be a couple of decisions that a bot might do if you're trying to program an AI to be the enemy. And that's always more fun in my opinion. Like, I mean, yeah, it's okay to beat people, like, and same with sports. Like, I liked it, but I also didn't because like a lot of these people I knew were just like me, and like they do the same thing. They go out to the football field and they just destroy themselves over and over every day to get bigger and stronger and faster and be able to do better at the game, which was great. Don't get me wrong. Like, I think sports definitely has a very important role. Like the idea of like just like we just had to be the best, and it got boring like how good we were. Buena Vista was an insane football team. Like we had a shutout season minus one score, but I still have a shirt that says shutout. So we're gonna ignore that one. But and that's the thing is like nobody scored on us the entire year, and it was a bogus call anyway. But I think the guy did it just because he's like, this is ridiculous. This team cannot go unscored upon. Like, and it's all, I wouldn't even be surprised if like all the coaches conspired and like, you know what, someone has to at least score on this team. It's not okay or whatever. And I don't know, but and then my coaches are probably like also awkward. Like, what do you do? Like, we do a good job. Like, I don't want to try to punish them for doing a good job, and like so it's kind of like, but they probably saw something like maybe this isn't good. I don't know, but either way, so competition, it's easy to get caught up in that. Yeah, especially if money's invested too. So gambling in sports and all that just creates a whole nother aspect that I never really understood. Like, I mean, I don't like gambling. I think most of it's a scam. And I know statistically that it's a scam, but still, it's like some of me just like wants to be dumb and like, and I do it. I still buy a lotto ticket every now and then, very sparingly. I think I did $60 all year this year. Um, and it's like, and I wouldn't dare do it if I didn't have a decent job, and I'm just like barely getting comfy with that. So, anyways, and kids too. And it's not just me; it's them anyway. But no, back to you almost want to be dumb. You know it's dumb, but then you're just like, all right, just fool me. And like you get that like that feeling. So, anyways, buying a lotto ticket. Uh, So back to the games. We would fight each other, and then we would, trash talk, and it would get to the point where people would, like, send me your address. I'm gonna, like, we're kids sitting around at a house, like, or they'd say like, oh, I'm a hacker, I'm hacking into your computer, or like anything, because people are just like going through. And these are kids, basically. They're all just kids mostly, and like, or maybe there's some grown people that I talk track with. I don't know, but it didn't take me long to realize I didn't want to be doing it. So I would try to discover other ways, like to handle confrontation. And just be like, okay, well, that wasn't unpleasant. That was unpleasant. So now let's try to do a different way. And so, and then there's verbal judo, which actually law enforcement and corrections, like they'll take classes of stuff maybe similar to that. I know up in Buena Vista they did verbal judo, and I mean, I think you can get the book and stuff. Like it's just, but the idea is to handle altercations with people in a positive and constructive way, in a peaceful way, or as peaceful as possible. Oops, took too much off the top there. So, and it is, and that's what it's doing. Is like instead of making the confrontation me against you, it's you and me together against this problem. What is this problem? And that's what law enforcement does. And it really is true because they're not out there mad at you. They don't like the way, they're not mad at you because the way you look, or they don't know something you did back in the day. Like they are oblivious to your entire history. They don't know you. All they know, and they put their thumb on the back of the car. I'm thinking of a traffic stop. In case you're some psychopath. I'm just kidding. Like if you're just having a really bad time and you do something dangerous, they do that to do that. But But they say, do you know why I pulled you over? And it looks like because I clocked you at going, and just the way that they talk, like you were speeding. They say, I clocked you going this fast. They say, I saw here that, and then that's your opening to try to explain, be like, oh, well, my wife's in labor, or I didn't realize the speed limit wasn't this, or, and they're just also checking while you're talking to be like, are they impaired? Are they on drugs? Are they, do they look like they're guilty of something else? Because if that is the situation and you don't address it, and then in hindsight it comes out, it's like a cover yourself, a CYA or CYB, cover your buns. But sorry, that was lame as all get up. But trying to be PG too, just an off chance, because I don't like swearing anymore. There was once a time when I thought it impressed people, but it was really more of just like a wow factor, and people weren't actually as impressed as I thought. So, but anyways, social engineering with people, random strangers around all places of the world. Um, that's kind of like YouTube. You get comments and stuff, and it's interesting how like so much of um, online interactions are much more pleasant now. I mean, there's still the outliers, sure. Like, I mean, I just was talking trash to some guy today, but he has like very few followers and following on the X app. He doesn't pay for his account, so, and that just tells me that he's probably pretty new to it or doesn't do it a lot. And then you can also see all their replies and how many times they've tweeted, and then once it changed to X app, how many times they posted. And I'm up in the like the thousands. I've debated and argued people and gone like really deep rabbit holes with a lot of people. And I love that. And I hope that Elon and his team see that if there's ever a problem, they could be like, oh wow, I see where this guy is thinking most of the time. Maybe he was having a bad day with this. If it ever becomes a thing. Because I am worried about that sometimes. It's like, how far am I crossing the line? And that's why I even said like stuff like sign a waiver and we'll see. And just like talking trash and stuff. And it was just kind of a joke, but like the guy won't let it go. And I don't know. And I think that's part of why sometimes they'll jump on here and they'll get revenge on me and dislike a video. Because sometimes, yeah, it's just dislike. Like the video wasn't that good. Okay. I'll take the feedback. But like for a while there was like everything I put up, like somebody just disliked it, or maybe I just like posted too much. I don't know. Sorry if I do. See, life is one big psychology experiment. It is like we're all trying to figure out the meaning of life. What should we do? How good of a life can we get it? Can we do better? And so stuff like that. And it's really the same the world over too. I've met many people from many different countries. And like I was fortunate enough, I paid a ton to do that, to come all the way up here, which is a 3-hour drive from BV. So like I was never really going home during college. Uh, which was fine because at that age I was wanting to be independent and kind of like do my own thing. The natural order, like America and England. So yeah, I do want to do some Dark Souls. Actually, I'm gonna go take care of a couple of things, Christmas prep and stuff. I'm gonna do all that I can tonight, and then tomorrow I'm just like not looking forward to it because I do need to go do a little bit of shopping. I just ran out of time for that today, so all I got today is like wrapping presents and stuff. So that's why I'm not like super worried about it for tonight. But tomorrow I'm just, and on Christmas Eve too. You don't want to go out on Christmas Eve because everybody does it. So, anyways, where are we at with this? All right, cool. Um, yeah, that's basically it. Like, I mean, oh, talking about cannabis and marijuana legalization and stuff too, because that showing a lot of people from other countries that this, and this, and here's this study, and this shows this, and there's still a lot of censorship in other countries, and that is kind of like slowly changing, and we got to allow it to change. It has to be a pull versus push situation. Like they need to pull or say, hey, I'm ready for this. Because as is, it can see offensive. Like even just what I just did there. Like to somebody who's never seen a game like this or something, that could be very. Although fortunately, I think the cat's out of the bag with a lot of this stuff, so we don't have to really worry about that. Like somebody stumbling upon, say one of my Fortnite videos that has a bunch of violence. Like you know, I don't know. And that is a concern. Oh yeah, we're like filling up. So. But yeah, and I'm gonna document all this stuff and put it up there. And I think that's what I need to do is just have the Joker Tower just one day. It's gonna be a while. So wrong. Because I guess that's it. I mean, understanding like different cultures and then also understanding that they're all the same. Like they're underneath, they are all same as us. Like they're not different animals. And I think that's what like with good intentions, we try to be respectful of other people around the world. And again, South Park for the win. Like in the Amazon rainforest episode, like she acts so like disingenuous to the locals, and they're just like, "What?" Like like K, and they just like make fun of her and stuff, and they just so it's like we need to respect the local habitat and all this. Because at the same time, yes, to a certain point, I've traveled abroad, and my Spanish teacher like did a little bit of that, but it was really more just like go out, have fun. These are people. These like she really was able to drive it home, but to a point she did have to say like the locals do this and that like as a tour guide. Um, but yeah, and South Park was great because it did do that. It was Starvin' Marvin, and then like the Costa Rica episode. Um, they did like personify these people, and Starvin' Marvin was great because I think he like jacks a alien spaceship and he like gets all this food. Oh yeah, because the turkeys, that's right, and he kills all these turkeys and he like takes it back to Africa and feeds all his people back home, and then he's just like these people are losers, or like, and I think they even translate something at the end is like these people are complete idiots, and like I did what I did, I got back and I fed my people, like whatever, screw these people, like I'm out of here, like something like that, and so oh. South Park. They're the real ones. They've been doing this for. I still need to make it down to Casa Bonita. Like, my money wasn't right this month, and like next month. And I don't gamble. I don't do any illegal things. Like, it's just mm, loaning people money, and also, which again, I don't think that's illegal, but it could be. Maybe I shouldn't say that. I don't do it often, but. And actually, and that's what, part of why I'm not mad at all, because it's like, and I knew that this was going to be a possibility, and so. But that's the thing, too, because communal, that's one of the other projects that I'm working on, is like just the idea of loaning people money at zero interest or even just low interest. Um, and yeah, but it's also, you got to have the guardrails, like not the reminders that aren't invasive, but at the same time, it's got to be like, I'm not some faceless robot. And that's like the other thing too, like when you're arguing with these people in the StarCraft lobbies and stuff, like they were faceless to a point, and then you start to realize, oh, they're not. And now that we've got video cameras, oh, there's the alarm. We've got like video conferences and stuff like that, and like because of the COVID pandemic, we all learned how to interact remotely with people, at least to a point, and then gaming is becoming more prevalent. So that's another area that's just like helping to educate people on other cultures and how to interact with other cultures. Because guess what? There are people just like you, and they interact how you would interact. They want to be nice, and and it's funny because well, it's funny but also really messed up. And then this is the last thing I'll say, and I'll go. But like, we as Americans have become so complacent because of how we have it over here that we think we're just some kind of like gods of the earth and all this. And then when we realize that other people are, oh, there's another one, the Middle East episode, like this kid in Afghanistan. He's like, 2/3 of the world hates you because you don't realize that over 2/3 of the world hates you. And it's just like, wait, what? And the kids are just all dumbfounded. But then it's like, oh, it makes sense. And that's just, yeah, South Park does it many different times. And that's real. Like anybody who's traveled and talked to people from other places or gone to college and like talked to students from other countries, you're really quick to see, oh, they party like me, they get down like me, like, they like to do the same stuff as me, like they got to learn the same lessons the hard way like me. Like, that's why my buddies from Saudi, yeah. So anyways, ta-ta for now. I will see you in the next one. I'm shivering too. I think I need to turn the heat back on. Been trying to save money doing that. And I do have a good job. Don't get me wrong. It's just I'm bad with no, I just have a lot of debt myself, and so I need to, yeah, paying off this one rather pesky loan for the boot camp I did above and beyond my student loans, more loans. So anyways, so I'm going to turn the heat back on. Have a great night. I will see you in the next one.